Welcome back everybody to my second video. Today I'm going to be talking about how I made this reel and how you can make it too. I made it for my good friend Lloyd and his business Lotron Electrical. We both attended an EDM festival down in Melbourne called Flow, and honestly such an amazing experience. And shout out to the Flow crew for making the whole entire process seamless and smooth and making sure that we were all happy and that we were all very comfortable with filming and setting up and doing everything in between. So yeah, enjoy the video. First thing I'm going to be talking about is the shutter speeds. I used 3 different shutter speeds when I made this reel. I did 1/15th, 1/30th, and 1/50th. All of them have different effects, and I'll explain to you a little bit about what they do. 1/15th has a really slow, sort of dreamlike effect, and it creates this sort of element to your video where you can really slow down the moment and really capture it in this one clip. This girl that was walking past me, I happened to be going to the DJ deck and she walked past me and it made for a really cool shot. And as well, there's a shot of Lloyd sitting at the computer desk where we controlled all the lights, and he was just kind of nodding his head, and using that slow shutter speed honestly made for a pretty cool shot, and I would definitely use it again. The other one that I used, 1/30th, I actually only used it once, and that was honestly by accident. I accidentally bumped my dial from 1/50th. I was shooting a normal speed and then it bumped it down to 1/30th, and that created a slow-mo effect. Now there's a difference between the 1/15th and the 1/30th. The 1/30th gave me true slow-mo. What that means is it wasn't actually jittery, it was pretty smooth, and I only had it once, and I'm definitely going to be using it again for any other future videos or reels that I may make. That's how I did that, and honestly, if you've got a mirrorless camera like myself, I'm shooting on the Sony a7R III, and if you've got a better camera, then you definitely should be experimenting with the different shutter speeds. And obviously the last one, 1/50th, that's just your standard speed. I was shooting at 24 frames a second. The general rule is you gotta shoot double what your frame rate is, and that just gives you the normal true to life speed in your videos. Did I throw away my notes? But the next thing I'm going to be talking about is storytelling. Having a general gist of what you're going to be shooting is really good start. So I knew I needed to shoot before, during, and after. I knew the type of reels that I was going to make. I was going to make one that sort of showcased the build and how it all came together. And then the next one, just simply showing off the lights. Having that in my mind, I was able to create this reel. So having a story in your head, a general gist at least, is a really good starting point. And honestly, it's going to make everything work so well for you down the track. Which brings me to my next point of overshooting. Now, I kind of went a little bit into it in my first video. You guys just have to overshoot everything. Like, make sure you just keep your camera rolling, right? Whether it's on your phone or your mirrorless camera, just keep it rolling, because the more footage you have, the more you can work with. And so after, when you go back to DaVinci or Adobe or wherever you edit, then you can honestly choose from a plethora of footage that you've captured throughout your night, your days, whatever. Which now circles back to the storytelling, right? If you had a few stories in mind and you didn't know which one you wanted to go with or which one might work or might not work, honestly, you could just experiment, overshoot, get everything on your camera, and then once you start editing, just try one. If that doesn't work, try the next one. But as long as you overshoot, you have that freedom to do so. The next thing that I'm going to be talking about is color grading. Color grading is pretty important when you want to make a reel like this. I obviously did more of a darker blue, orange sort of tones, but I was also lucky that the lights that we put up had a lot of rainbow functions. So honestly, putting it from S-Log to normal was pretty easy. I only tweaked a little bit of the darker settings to blue just to sort of give that, you know, club vibe. Color grading is important to get your desired effect. Obviously, if you want something dark and dramatic, use a lot of blues. If you want something bright and bubbly, generally use a lot of yellows and maybe greens, actually. Play around with the shadows, the highlights, but make sure you don't get too much noise in your footage, otherwise it kind of looks... Once you've shot everything, you've come back home, You're happy with the event or wherever you were, and you want to make a reel. This is the beauty of reels. You don't get a copyright strike when you use songs. You pick a song that suits what you've shot. Now for this, obviously I've shot club, so I wanted maybe something like Res, but then I thought, too dark, too deep. Then I thought, well, Fred Again's coming to Australia. I'm gonna use Fred Again. And I used his song Leave Me Alone, and it's one of my favorite songs at the moment. The way he just made the song, it just has a really nice beat, it's really catchy, and honestly works so well for this reel. So you can use songs provided you don't just use the whole song. Obviously, your reel's not gonna be 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's gonna be like 15, maybe 30 seconds max. But basically, yeah, I've used Leave Me Alone by Fred Again, and it works so well. I used it because it's got a really nice tempo and it was really easy to cut to the beats. When you cut to beats in video editing, making sure you don't do too many cuts. Obviously, something like a hard style song where there's a beat every single half second probably won't work for a reel unless that is your desired effect. You just kind of want to rattle off footage. But otherwise, honestly, use a general tempo, maybe like 80, 90 beats per minute. That's a pretty good tempo, I'd say, even just like any trending audio. And that's it, guys. That's it for this video. I hope you've taken some value out of this and keep making those reels. Just keep practicing, keep going, and honestly, you'll get so quick at it, it just will be second nature to you, and you'll be pumping out reels like it's nothing. Enjoy, guys.
She wanna get it, fucking don't know, better than them, 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 better than them. Everybody, 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 everybody.